Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Dhide Boys, and welcome to my 1 to 99 crafting guide. Crafting is a skill that hasn't seen a lot of big updates over the years, but there's still a lot of crafting requirements out there, and the crafting cape gives you unlimited teleports to the crafting guild, which is one of the best bank teleports in the game. In this guide, I'm going to start off with the quests that you can use to give yourself a jump start on your crafting gains, then I'll go over the methods that I would use to get from 1 to 99 crafting at the moment. There are a lot of different and viable crafting methods out there, so after that we're going to go over the alternative methods that you could use for training your crafting. If you've been getting helpful information out of these guides, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. There's a lot of quests that give crafting XP, which can be convenient for getting started. Crafting XP rates overall are very quick, so it's not actually like faster to get the early levels done with quests, but in general, doing your quests is very solid for progress on your account. Even if you don't unlock a bunch of things from that particular quest, having more quest points is very important for big quests down the road, so it's worth getting a lot of your early levels by just knocking out a few quests. I suggest completing Sheep Shearer, Goblin Diplomacy, Misthalin Mystery, Dwarf Cannon, Murder Mystery, and the Observatory quest. If you're at level 1 crafting, this is going to jump you from 1 to 21 crafting, and none of these quests take very long. There are even more quests that you can get done that give crafting XP. There's a ton of them actually, so I have linked the OSRS Wiki's page on quest XP rewards in the description. Again, you don't have to do any quests to get started with crafting, so let's go ahead and move on to the regular leveling guide. If you didn't go for any quests to start, you can get these first 20 crafting levels by blowing glass. This requires a glass blowing pipe and some molten glass. Using the pipe on the molten glass will bring up a menu of glass items that you can make, and each of these items requires 1 molten glass each. From level 1 to 4, you can make beer glasses. From 4 to 12, you can start making empty candle lanterns. And then from 12 to 20, you can make empty oil lamps instead. From level 1 to 20 crafting should take you 201 molten glass, and it's only going to be like 5 to 10 minutes. At level 20 crafting, you can start cutting sapphires. To do this, you just need to use a chisel on an uncut sapphire. Cutting uncut gems tends to be an expensive way to get XP, but it is very good XP an hour, and you don't need that much XP to get those early levels. It's once you're like 80 to 90 in a level that it takes a lot of XP to level up. From level 20 to 27 crafting is only going to require 106 sapphires. At level 27 crafting, you can cut emeralds instead. 27 to 34 is 156 uncut emeralds, or if you push these all the way to 54, it would be 2,091 uncut emeralds instead. At 34 crafting, you can cut rubies. These cost about 1.6 GP per XP at the moment, which is nearly 3 times as much as those emeralds, but it's still only going to be like 200k to get up to 54 crafting. Keep in mind that the cost of training here, that's how much money that you've lost after you sell those gems back. This is not just the price of the uncut gems in the first place. 34 to 54 is going to require 1,538 uncut rubies. At 54 crafting, you can start to make Battlestaves, specifically water Battlestaves for right now. These Battlestaves are similar to gems. The higher tier Battlestaff is going to give you more XP an hour, but it's also going to cost you a little bit more GP per XP. To make water Battlestaves, you need to use a water orb on a Battlestaff. So training is just taking out 14 orbs, 14 staves, using an orb on a staff, press spacebar, and just let your character send some gains. From 54 to 58 will require 736 water Battlestaves. The worst part about this is having the money to buy the materials in the first place. You can sell them back or even high alch the Battlestaves to get most of the money back. You just need a little bit of capital to get started though. 58 to 62, you can do Earth Battlestaves. This is 972 Battlestaves for these levels, and it's still under 1 GP per XP, so it's not that expensive. 62 to 66, you can do Fire Battlestaves. This requires 1,300 Battlestaves getting those levels. The Fire Battlestaves are about 3 times as expensive for experience as the Earth Battlestaves, but it's still only like 200, maybe 250k to get these levels. And then at 66, you can start making Air Battlestaves. These are the most expensive to make in terms of GP per XP, but you can get well over 300 XP an hour, which is very fast. To get from 66 to 71 crafting does require 2,315 Air Battlestaves. At the moment, those levels would cost you about 730k. If you're trying to be a little bit more cost efficient, but you do like the Battlestaves, you could stick to Earth Battlestaves, but with these Air Battlestaves, you don't have to spend as much time crafting, giving you more time to do other things. At 71 crafting, you can make blue dragonhide bodies. You can make green Dhide bodies at 63 crafting, but they're actually the same XP an hour as fire battlestaves while being a little bit more expensive, so you might as well just do the fire battlestaves instead. To make a dragonhide body does require a needle and some thread, which you do use up this thread, so you should buy a bunch of it, and then it's 3 dragon leather per dragonhide body. Dragonhide bodies reach better XP rates than battlestaves, but they are more expensive than battlestaves as well. Blue Dhide bodies are not too bad at about 3.29 GP per XP, so you could definitely ride these all the way to 99 crafting, which would cost you about 38 mil at the moment. Switching to red Dhide bodies at 77 crafting will give you an extra 40k XP an hour, but also it's significantly more expensive since it's about 6.8 GP per XP at the moment. It saves you a little bit of time, but you would have to profit like 4 to 5 mil an hour in those hours saved to make up for the extra cost. 4 to 5 mil an hour is doable, but only with high level bossing. And finally, you could switch to black dragonhide bodies at 84 crafting. These are over 400k XP an hour, but they are very expensive. The 84 to 99 crafting grind would be about 10 less hours if you do black Dhide instead of blue Dhide, but it's also going to cost you 90 mil extra. The only way that you make up 90 mil in those 10 hours saved is like high-level raids or small teams next. For the most part, you can just stick to blue dragonhide bodies to finish any levels past 71. They are very good XP an hour and they're not that expensive, so you don't have to spend that much time on crafting overall or that much money. There are plenty of other viable methods for crafting though, so let's look at the alternative methods. First of all, we're going to revisit glass blowing. You can start blowing glass at 1 crafting. In fact, that's what I suggested earlier in the guide. Realistically, you can take glass blowing all the way to 99. The higher tier glass items tend to be cheaper GP per XP than those low ones. In fact, the unpowered orbs make a little bit of profit at the moment. So you could just buy a glass blowing pipe and a bunch of molten glass and just make the highest level glass item that you can make at your level all the way to 99. If you did unpowered orbs from 46 to 99, it would take 246,980 molten glass and about 142 hours. That's a lot of hours to get the cape, but you would profit 3.5 mil at the moment. Clearly that's not good GP an hour, but more like you wouldn't lose any coins getting to 99. If I were blowing glass all the way to 99, I would move to lantern lenses at 49 crafting and empty light orbs at 87 crafting. It's going to cost you like 15 mil to finish 99 crafting that way, but you're going to save like 30 hours, so it's easy to make up that 15 mil. Blowing glass is also very good for Iron Men, since you can mine sandstone and get buckets of sand from the sandstone mine in the desert, and you can grow your own giant seaweed underwater at Fossil Island. Take those supplies and use Superglass Make to make your own molten glass, which we are going to talk about a little bit more here soon. You can start making gold bracelets at 7 crafting, which is actually very low crafting and makes a little bit of profit. So this is a good moneymaker for a brand new account, once you get access to the Grain Exchange, I guess, but you can make nearly 100k GP an hour very early on. Sapphire bracelets also make a good profit and only require 23 crafting to get started on. Even the diamond bracelets still make a solid profit at the moment, and they have a high volume on the Grain Exchange, so it's not that bad to sell off a bunch of bracelets. To make a bracelet, you do need a bracelet mold, a gold bar, and then whichever cut gem that you're going to be using, unless you're doing gold bracelets. You do need to take all of this to a furnace, which I suggest using the Edgeville furnace for. Bracelets are good to get some decent XP while also profiting a bit. Again, I personally just suggest doing the faster methods for the most part and then making up for the money later, but you could use bracelets to get a little extra profit and then spend that profit on faster methods, and you can end up breaking even while still getting good crafting XP. At level 10 crafting, you can spin flax into bowstrings. This is another solid moneymaker that can be done very early in an account. It's actually the only reason that it's a good option. If you're at low levels, you can get good starting cash by making bowstrings. You can profit about 130k GP an hour, and you still get decent starting crafting XP. I wouldn't do bowstrings to like a high level by any means, since it maxes out at 22k XP an hour. The spinning wheel on Fossil Island is very sweet, but it does require the Bon Voyage quest, so you could always spin these bowstrings at the Lumbridge Castle as well. At 26 crafting, you can make drift nets at a loom using jute fibers. This time you do want Fossil Island. It's kind of required, so you're going to have to do Bon Voyage. You're also going to need to make the bank and the loom, which is going to require 29 construction. Making drift nets can get up to 60k XP an hour at only level 26, which isn't that bad, especially since you can profit pretty well too, up to like 300k GP an hour. You do need more GP to get started with this than you would with bowstrings, since fibers are a little more expensive, but it's also more GP an hour, so it is worth the switch. But But again, since it doesn't max out at a ton of XP, I wouldn't do this to get super high levels for crafting. Even like 60 crafting though would be maybe 4 or 5 hours total of this, and you would make over 1 mil profit, which is a nice starting point for crafting gains. At 85 crafting, you can turn Amethyst ore into a variety of ammo for your range gear. Specifically, Amethyst Arrowtips currently profit just a little bit. You can get up over 160k XP an hour while also making that profit. The profit varies a lot, so really I just expect you just about break even, maybe like 100 to 200k an hour sometimes. Overall, the idea is that you can get 160k XP an hour without having to spend much money at all, other than the fact that you need a little bit of capital to get started because each Amethyst ore is 7k. But once you sell back the arrow tips, you'll be looking good. There's a couple of magic spells on the Lunar Spellbook that I want to mention before we wrap this up, starting with the Spinning Flax spell. This spell requires 76 magic and completion of the Lunar Diplomacy quest. Casting the spell one time will turn 5 flax into bowstrings, and it'll give you some magic and crafting XP for it. You can get 80k to 85k XP in both your mage and crafting while you do this, which is really nice to get XP in 2 skills at once. It also slightly profits at the moment, but I do mean slightly. Basically, you're breaking even while getting some good crafting and mage XP, though it is much more click intensive than most of the methods we've been talking about. The other spell is Superglass Make, which we did bring up earlier. This does require 77 magic. You can use this spell to make molten glass without having to use a furnace. You want to use giant seaweed and buckets of sand for this. Every 1 giant seaweed does use 6 buckets of sand, and you average like 1.5 molten glass per giant seaweed. I like to take 3 giant seaweed and 18 buckets at a time to make more glass, but this does require picking up some glass off the ground as well. This gives out more crafting XP than it does mage XP, but it makes a lot more money than the Spinning Flax spell, reaching up to like 400k GP an hour. 400k GP, 45k mage XP, and 100k crafting XP an hour is actually really sick, though again, it's a lot more click intensive than many of the crafting methods we've been talking about. And again, you do need to complete the Lunar Diplomacy quest to be able to use either of these magic spells. There's a ton of different ways to get crafting XP, so if you still have any questions about crafting gains, be sure to let me know in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you enjoyed the video or you just got some useful information out of it, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you very much for watching, and best of luck on your crafting gains.